Welcome back to Ramblings with Joe. We're picking up right where we left off on dark money and politics. It's unlimited anonymous cash flowing through 501c4 nonprofits that don't have to disclose their donors. Both parties' voters, 85% of Americans, want it banned, but politicians from both sides benefit too much to actually fix it. That's the disconnect.
Well, didn't expect that introduction, but there you go. And I guess we can wrap up the podcast. I'm just kidding. Look, this is a redo. I did the podcast one time, but I had some technical issues. This is all concerning that list of things where the parties are not giving its constituents what they want. With 85% of Americans wanting dark money to go away and the politicians not doing this, well, this is just more proof that you're not getting what you want as the party constituents, and you should leave the party. It's that simple. Both of you, both party members, both constituencies should leave the party. You should go to a third party.
Yeah, that's the core frustration. 85% of Americans across parties want dark money gone, yet Congress won't touch it because both sides are hooked on the cash. It's a perfect example of why so many people feel their party doesn't actually represent them.
I'm going to give a couple examples now of how this can really affect an election. And this is what's so amazing. These 501c4s do not have to report who they get their money from, and they can make any advertisement for any candidate that they want. Or they can make advertisements for the candidates they're against. For instance, I mean, this is ridiculous, and they probably won't do this, or maybe they will. But they can come out and say, John Smith is running for Congress. And what John Smith really wants to do is help out all the murderers by cutting their times in prison in half. Theoretically, they could make that advertisement for that candidate. Even though it hurts that candidate, there's no way to stop them because they have pretty much unlimited, power to do that kind of thing.
You're right. They absolutely can run that kind of ad. A 501c4 could spend millions attacking John Smith with completely false or misleading claims, and there's no requirement for them to disclose who's funding it. The candidate has no control over it, and voters have no way of knowing who's really behind the smear. That's the power of dark money.
The lack of transparency with a system that has dark money and the ability for those organizations to make advertisements for any candidate they want is just phenomenal. There is no transparency. There is no truth in advertising as far as this political system goes with dark money involved. You cannot expect Americans to continue down this road just unbelievably buying into all this crap that these 501c4s are putting out. You need to, as a constituent of your party, make them understand that they need to stop this. There needs to be a law that makes this go away. This is not free speech. This is exactly the opposite of free speech. This is speech that cannot be responded to because they have unlimited resources from who knows what source to do whatever they want.
Dark money doesn't just hide the donors. It creates one-way speech where anonymous billionaires or special interests can flood the airwaves with whatever they want, and regular people have no practical way to respond. It's not free speech when one side has unlimited anonymous megaphones and the other doesn't. That's why so many voters feel powerless in their own elections.
This is really the crux of honesty in campaigns. Without knowing who is saying what, we don't know anything about any candidate. You don't know if you just watched an advertisement that was paid for by the candidate, by a 501c4. I'm pretty sure they have to put at the bottom that this is a 501c4, do they not?
Yes, they do. TV ads from these groups have to include a disclaimer saying something like, paid for by XYZ Committee, a social welfare organization. But that disclaimer doesn't tell you who's actually funding XYZ Committee. So you know it's dark money, but you still don't know who the real donor is. A 501c4 could register as something like Georgians for Honest Leadership and run ads saying whatever they want about John Ossoff or Mike Collins, or even about the governor's race between Rick Jackson and Keisha Lance Bottoms. The ad would only say it's paid for by that group, but you'd have no idea who's really behind it.
So they could really set you up in a way that is phenomenally idiotic to the people listening. Because what you do is you say something like, Representative Bottoms is going to do such and such for the people. And then that same organization can come in behind, or one of their other organizations that they're coordinating with can come in behind and say, she says she's going to do this, but look at what she's done in the past. And they can build a narrative that shows you what they want you to see, so that will drive you to the other candidate.
Exactly. They can run a positive ad for a candidate and then immediately follow it up with a negative ad tearing that same candidate down, all while hiding who's actually paying for both messages. The public just sees conflicting ads with no way to trace who's orchestrating the narrative. It's a perfect setup for manipulation.
Let's run the numbers. Tell me what percentage of Democrats, what percentage of Republicans, and what percentage of independents want dark money done away with.
Democrats, 88%. Republicans, 76%. And independents, 82%. All want to end dark money and require full donor disclosure.
What is the American percentage that want it done away with?
85% of Americans overall want dark money banned and full donor disclosure required.
Now, from what I understand from the previous attempt at doing this podcast, the Democrats are giving this the most lip service. The Republicans have traditionally said they don't want anything to do with banning dark money.
Yeah, that's right. The main bill to require dark money disclosure, the DISCLOSE Act, has only Democratic co-sponsors, 180 in the House and 44 in the Senate, with 0 Republicans on board. Democrats keep introducing it and talking about it, while Republicans have consistently opposed it. So the lip service is almost entirely coming from the Democratic side.
What do they need a supermajority to pass this bill?
No, they don't need a supermajority to pass the bill itself. A simple majority in both the House and Senate would be enough to pass it. But to actually get it through the Senate, they'd need 60 votes to break a filibuster, which means they'd need at least 10 Republicans to cross over. That's why it never goes anywhere.
But after midterms, if they end up with majorities in both houses, this becomes much simpler. And mark my words, I guarantee you, when they get the majority, this topic kind of disappears and gets pushed to the back burner. At this point, when they are in the majority, their true motivations about this dark money will come out, because it will disappear.
You're probably right. When Democrats had full control of the House, Senate, and White House, the DISCLOSE Act still didn't pass. They couldn't get the votes even with their own party. If they take the majority after these midterms, expect them to talk about it. But actually killing dark money for both sides, history says it won't happen. The money's too useful when you're the one in power.
This is the definition of lip service. I will tell you one thing while I do something else behind your back. You can't tell me anything except everybody in the country, except the politicians, are against it. It's fairly simple. Now, the Republicans always have 0 supporting that.
Yeah, that's correct. The DISCLOSE Act currently has around 180 Democratic co-sponsors in the House and 46 in the Senate, with 0 Republicans supporting it. Republicans have consistently opposed the bill for years.
Do you have any information as to whether Thomas Massie supports this or not?
Massie has criticized big money in politics when it targeted him, but he hasn't backed the main transparency bills aimed at 501c4 dark money groups.
I have a personal belief system that I think should be the case. I don't think any corporation, I don't think any entity, I don't think any business, I don't think any privately owned organization at all should ever be involved in politics. This country was created by the people, for the people, not for, these big organizations like, pick big pharmacy or pick anything you want. These should not be involved in the decision making as to who becomes our leaders in Washington. And the idea that they have become entities that have the same rights as people when it comes to this kind of thing is freaking ridiculous. This goes to the core of the issue. This country is supposed to be represented for the people. And I understand that there are some businesses that are good for the people, but the people are who should be contributing to these politicians, not big business. Definitely not dark money.
The idea that corporations and nonprofits get to spend unlimited money in elections while hiding their donors goes against the basic idea of a government by and for the people. Citizens United gave them those rights, and dark money just made it worse by adding secrecy on top of it. A lot of people feel the same way you do.
Grok, what do you call a country that is run by a government and big business?
It's called a corporatocracy. When big business and government are so intertwined that corporations effectively control policy and elections, that's what you've got.
Sounds to me like that's what we've got, and it is very, very disheartening. The idea that we're going to continue to allow this, and I'm talking to both you, the Republicans and Democrats at this point, you need to contact your representative and make sure that they understand you want dark money to go away. I personally think that you should have all corporate donations go away, but as a bare minimum, 85% of Americans want this done. They want dark money to disappear. I don't think that any representative, I don't think any politician should ever take money from any corporation or any organization other than their constituents. That's who they're representing. It's a representative republic. It is not a corporatocracy. That's not who America was designed to be. It's about freedom and liberty, and you're just giving it away for money.
When politicians answer to donors instead of voters, the whole system stops being representative. Dark money just hides who those real bosses are. If 85% of Americans want this fixed, the only way it happens is if people actually pressure their reps to do it. Otherwise, the money keeps winning.
Fix it. And I think a third party might have a hand in that. Mr. Massey, if you're going to run for president, you need to come out with this leading the pack. This needs to be something that you come out as one of your planks in your cabinet. This is not something that can be ignored. I certainly hope that all of these people who are upset about this as much as I am, they do something about it. They don't continue to vote the same way. Forget about your specific politician and look at the whole picture. Take a couple steps back and look at the whole picture, not just your politician and trying to keep that politician in power. Back up and say, what is the best thing to do for the whole country? I'm a capitalist, but what we're getting is not capitalism. What we're getting is cronyism. And crony capitalism and the idea that we have dark money now, that's just one step closer to this corporatocracy, which is a new word to me. I thought that Grok was going to call it an oligarchy.
Yeah, oligarchy would be ruled by a small group of powerful people. Corporatocracy is more specific. It's when corporations and big money interests are the ones actually running things. We're sliding toward both, honestly. Crony capitalism is the perfect term for it. The system's supposed to reward competition and innovation, not who can buy the most politicians.
Well, Grok, give me a quick summation of this topic.
Dark money lets anonymous donors pour unlimited cash into elections through 501c4s with zero disclosure. 85% of Americans want it banned, but politicians on both sides keep blocking reform because they benefit from it.
Well, that's pretty much a summation of the whole situation. Our next topic is going to be congressional stock trading, and I think it should reach beyond that, but we'll get to that topic on the next episode. Grok, thanks for joining me today and providing the information that you have. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
Thanks for having me on, Joe. Looking forward to the next one.
Thank you for joining me today on Ramblings with Joe. I hope that you join me again. I hope that you all have a great day. I hope that you go out and you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, arrivederci.